Hello and welcome back to Photography Out Loud. My name is Paul Davis and as always I'm joined with my colleague Joel Longbone.
Hello. Yeah, good, you?
I can actually ask you how your week has been.
I know, because you haven't seen me for 4 days.
Yeah.
Very odd.
Someone had a holiday. No, it wasn't Joel. That's why I have a lovely warm glowing smile. And actually no, you don't look like death.
Oh, thanks. That's really refreshing.
I thought maybe.
Yeah. Just look like I'm going on a holiday with these bags under my eyes.
Indeed.
Although that could be something to do with having 2 young children. Who knows?
Yeah, it certainly can do. Thank you very much for joining us. It's always wonderful seeing you here. We always keep seeing you. We'll have to figure out something there anyway. Definitely. So please let us know that you're watching live. Give us a hello or however you see fit in communicating.
Yep. Like, shares, subscribes.
Yeah.
All good, all good.
All of those good things.
Good afternoon, Graham. Good to see you.
Thank you very much for joining. So this episode, we'll get to it in a little section, is we're going to be doing some highlights from the show that we just did. That thing.
That nine-day show.
Yeah, which was absolutely awesome. We said we were going to do a recap video, so here it is, because I think it
was a lot to take in.
Yeah, there was so much.
A debrief.
And I think we're going to like pop it on one of the ends of, one of the shows, but there's just so much that we wanted to speak about. So we decided to give it a whole show here on Photography Out Loud. So
for 10 minutes.
Well, you do 10 minutes, are we?
I don't know. Depends how many videos you've put together. Maybe 15 minutes.
It said on the timeline 22 hours. We're just replaying the whole show again. No, only joking.
Can you imagine?
No, that was I
don't think I'd be married if that happened.
But no, we did need to download the whole content off our streaming platform, which we use. So, and there was like over 27 hours worth of
it's quite impressive, that really,
of stuff that we did. So there's loads for you to watch, and you can go and rewatch it at any time as well. So
for free.
So any of the highlight videos that we're going to show you on here today, if they interest you, then you can go over to our website, search for Winter Show, and you'll be able to see a whole list of speakers that we had for the Winter Show. So it's going to be brilliant.
So how many sessions were there?
There were.
So it was 21 in the May show, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think we got to 23 speakers. I think it was this time round. So, and some of them like ran.
So the next one will be 30. Oh dear.
I was nearly a nervous wreck after this one. Should we go to some of the comments before we get started?
Ian Master says, hi to both. Just made it thanks to Alarm on Watch. Glad to see you've joined us, Ian. Hi, Steve. Afternoon, chaps. Have you had a good rest after last week? Missed you. Paul had a good rest. I just worked the whole time. No, Paul definitely needed the rest. As do I, but I'm hopefully going to get some at Christmas.
Yeah, indeed.
All being well. I'll probably just get like a stinking cold, like from Christmas Eve for like a week.
I can relax.
Yeah.
And then your immune system relaxes.
Yeah.
And then everything just piles in.
Yeah, exactly. Hello, Tina. Hope you're well. And hi, guys. I hope you're well and safe. From Martin Jones. We are. Thank you. Yeah, doing really well. It's odd, isn't it? Because we're only 2 weeks away from Christmas. And I don't know. It just seems odd that it's coming to the end of 2020.
Yeah, no, it certainly does.
Especially after a crazy year that we've had. So, yeah.
Are we going to be doing a highlight of the whole year?
I think it would be pretty much just the 2 shows.
Yeah. No.
And the workshop we're doing tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which, if you are free tomorrow, between 2 and 7 or 8, I think it is, we're going to Newbury Forest and Planwyn Island to do sunset and some nightscape photography and light painting.
Ooh, very nice.
Which is exciting. So I'm well excited to be out and about again with customers and obviously safely distanced and stuff like that. But no, it'd be good because that's what we really enjoy, is helping people enjoy photography, and workshops is a great way of doing that. So
yeah,
being in front of the camera has been nice for the past shows, but it's also great when we can get out and about and show people how to use their gear and make the most of it and produce images that make them really happy. So excited about tomorrow. It'll be good.
No, should be absolutely excellent. So let's start with some of the videos. So I will say, first of all, so I've sort of put this together.
Yep.
So you had a rough idea of what I'm putting on.
Yeah.
But especially
just like always.
Especially with this first video.
Oh dear. Is this the bad one? It's like a blooper reel.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So I was hoping that we'd get this out of the way before like lots of people joined us live, but we've done
there's so many.
So there's people going to be watching this. So obviously all the shows that all the episodes that we did for the winter show are live, and this little snippet will prove you why.
Oh dear.
Are you button pushing?
I could do. Like that. There we go.
Hello and welcome back to the virtual show. My name is Paul Davis.
And I'm Joel Longburn. Oh my life. Oh dear. So many more days left. And that's what I came out with. Goodness me. I have been called Paul a few times. Anyway, moving swiftly on.
Sorry,
honestly, you'd think we'd be better at this by
Joel's
now.
going to lose his clicky job in a minute. So we'll start again.
And you're supposed to say this is Joel.
Oh, that's Joel Longbone.
And that's Paul Davis. Honestly, we spoke about this before. Shocking. And it's only Wednesday. It's not even like it's a Monday morning.
See, that's what happens when you try and mix up the.
You don't challenge yourself. Even if it's that easy.
Like, just getting a general conversation out of my mouth is always a challenge. What do I normally say after that? I've forgotten.
That I got it right.
Oh yeah, there we go. Did we do the right intro?
Yeah, I think we should try another one another time just for the hilarity of getting it wrong as per usual.
Okay, we'll try something really complex tomorrow then.
We've not got any sound on the video apparently, so we were muted as well. So
we were muted.
Yeah, when you said that. We'll get it sorted now. Sorry.
Yes,
and unmute.
And unmute. There we go.
We need a box. We can't be
do.
doing with this mouse nonsense.
There's a lot of button pushing, and you still got it right.
I know.
Yeah, so everything that we do is live here. So we tend to do a lot of live streaming. Yeah, certainly do. I think it was
fail a lot.
I think it was the only way that we could actually get stuff out as well, wasn't it? So it gave us a sort of time. This is when we're going to be doing it, and we just got it out. And it's really how this show was born as well.
And also we wanted to make it possible, and I think there was only 2 sessions that were pre-recorded, so I think that's pretty good. Because we wanted you guys to be able to ask questions of us or of the speakers or both, and be able to have that conversation a bit like you would have been able to at our normal shows when we were in the church. So yeah, I think doing it live had its benefits for you, the customer, and you, the viewer, in terms of both getting to see us two be idiots and forget to do things correctly and forget things what we're supposed to say, like now, and then also being able to almost have a conversation through the comment section, with the speakers and with us. And I think that was really useful, especially from a lot of the comments we've had on the videos, but also the emails, the phone calls, the Facebook messages that we've had personally in the shop, and even when people come in to speak to us about how much they really enjoyed the show, and the ability to kind of have that conversation. So. Yeah,
and obviously the first thank you goes to everyone that shows up live as well. So we absolutely love seeing your live comments. So throughout these, we'll be saying lots of thank yous. And the first one is to you, the viewers, and especially the live viewers as well. So having your comments coming through, even from, I think, from our point of view as well. So it's always lovely to see comments, even if you're rewatching, but knowing that people are there, hopefully,
and enjoying
watching
it as well.
Yeah,
because I can think of other things than having to sit next to. No, I'm joking. I'd love sitting next to you.
So on to the next video. So what we wanted just to show you next, I'm doing the live thing, is we had some wildlife photographers come for this show.
So I
So,
pressed this button. Is that right?
yes, we're here. So yeah, so we had Consta, who was a Nikon ambassador, I think it is, and our very good friend Gary as well.
Gary
So,
Jones.
and this is a couple of snippets from their live.
Excellent.
Philosophy behind this is to get up close and not use longer lenses and try to get on the same eye level with the animal, and instead of using much hides and like hiding yourself with camouflage nets or wooden hides, I was completely just laying in the ground, and I wanted the animal to see me, and that way I get photos that where the animal reacts to me.
I get quite excited going out there as much as seeing the sort of big game as seeing lots of the birds, and being an avid bird photographer more than anything, I get quite excited about the different exotic species. And I said right at the beginning, there's over 400 species of birds within the reserve of Zamanga. And I just got a small snapshot, I think, just to give you an idea of what you can see and photograph over there. And some real special ones, such as this bird on the screen, which is a lilac-breasted roller, and this is one that comes down to drink at the waterholes that you saw on the video. Are Cape buffalo, and these come to drink at the waterhole. And these things weigh in excess of a ton. They are enormous. You don't realise how big these things are till one staring down the lens of your camera 8 feet away from you drinking. And they are super cool things. And these tend to come in the dark to drink. Really, really close. So shot at 24mm. The pool is lit up, so once it goes dark, there's LED lighting on the top of the hide that lights the water hole. So there's no need for flash, and there's sufficient lighting for you to get sufficient shutter speed to give you enough to be able to freeze the images. So these are shot at about 200th of a second. Not a massive ISO. I reckon I was probably shooting, I don't know, between 3,000 and 4,000. But an image in the dark, whatever camera you've got, doesn't tend to show noise too badly. So these came out really, really well.
That was brilliant hearing some of the words from Gary and Consta there.
Thanks
so
for their images as well. Just
yeah, I love how they're both unique in their own way, but like especially when you put their work like side by side to each other, like how different sort of wildlife photography can be.
And also they the way in which they work with the animals differs, but equally there's a great amount of respect and that knowledge and knowing that they have to know the animal well to get the images that they seek. I think that's probably one of the biggest takeaways, because they didn't really mention a lot of the technical side of photography, really.
No, and I think I mean, once again, if you rewatch either of those videos that we've had on our winter show, you'll be able to see that it's very much, you know, like from a conservational point of view, or from knowing your there's that sort of foothold there, and I think there's got to be that first, isn't there? So I don't think if you particularly, you know, embraced it as much as we saw from those two, that you would be able to get into wildlife photography. There has to be that sort of real sort of deep down sort of feeling for it
required in terms of waiting, or scoping out a location, knowing something might happen in a few days' time, or a few weeks' time, or a month's time. Like that planning ahead to get the shot that you want. I think that takes a lot of discipline, understanding, and pure enjoyment as well. I think you have to kind of enjoy wildlife photography. Like it's like a bit like landscape photography, isn't it? You can't just rock up and get your picture and go.
No.
The light won't be right. You just can't rock up and get a fox looking at you and then go again, can you? Like Consta was, or like, and even with Gary, obviously it was set up for photography, which is an amazing location.
Yeah.
But there's still like that process of knowing when they're going to come and having to reset your body clock.
Yeah.
So you wake up at night when you'd normally be going to bed, so that you'd be up the whole night to get all the images of the animals. alive at night.
Yeah.
And awake at night. Alive at night, awake at night.
Yeah, and it was the same with he was mentioning about the water buffalo there. You know, like how the hide was like set down into the you know, so you're looking down the pool. But he said that, you know, you didn't want to sleep at all.
You knew what was going to
So, you know, you'd have to be awake sort of all night to, you know, to be ready.
It's not much of a photographic holiday, is it?
Just
It's like having children.
As you can see, me and Joel are not wildlife photographers. It's definitely a certain type of breed. And also in a similar thing, you know, we had Mike Inkley that works alongside Olympus as well.
That new 150 to 400.
Yeah, which is brilliant for sport, but equally goes in well with like wildlife and stuff like that. So if you haven't already and an Olympus user, you can check out Mike Inkley's video on our winter show as well.
Just if you want one of the lenses, you might have to wait 6 months.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a while.
Rare, it's ridiculous.
But other lenses are available.
Yeah. Manufacturers are available.
No, that's brilliant.
I'm going to press another button.
So I think so. We've got lots of buttons going on the go at the moment. So we wanted to share with you a little bit about some of the talks that we had, which were a bit more sort of philosophical, more what's going on behind the camera. So how the yeah, exactly. So how different photographers will process different things. So we've got a couple of words here from David Collier, from Jonathan Critchley and Steve Gosling, talking a little bit about their work.
You know, the beauty of being part of the team as well as being, you know, a participant observer is that I was able to get incredibly intimate portraits of people and really just sort of showing what it was like behind the scenes. And my methodology was I was very, very uncomfortable with the way NHS staff were being eulogized by the general public and particularly by politicians. I really, it made me bridle slightly that we were being portrayed as heroes. Where I don't see that we are. You know, we do a very, very difficult job. We do a job that you know has a lot of emotional baggage that goes along with it. But at the end of the day, we're professionals. We're highly trained. We're paid to do a job. We've got job security. You know, while everyone else is struggling or being laid off or furloughed, you know, we're still earning reasonable money. And I wanted to effectively turn the camera back on myself and my colleagues to really sort of put a human face behind that eulogizing that was going on and showing that actually we're human beings. You know, we're not. There was a lot of stuff that was going around at the time, which I just felt really uncomfortable with. Pictures of Marvel superheroes bowing down to NHS staff, and the one that I found really quite crass, which is still doing the rounds at the moment, is it was a picture of Jesus washing the feet of an NHS staff member in scrubs, and I just really wanted to sort of get away from that and show who we were.
You know, what drew you to the horses in the first place? Because you're not a horse person, are you? Or
well,
you
I wasn't. I've become one. I wasn't. No, the command. I mean, obviously, as you know, I live here in France, and I was looking for all the different options that I could shoot that were to do with water in France, because you know France has a lot to offer. I mean, you know, the UK does too. Lots of once you live in a place, you want to sort of explore what it's got. And I'd been told as a child that when you're standing on a beach and it's in the winter or it's a rough day and the waves are coming in, that white foam that blows off the top of the wave was called white horses. That was something I was told as a child. And so when I heard about these, I think the first time I shot, this is a later picture, about 2016, but I think the first time I shot the horses in about 2009 or 10, I'd heard about these horses in the command, and I thought I loved that imagery of the horses coming in from the sea. You know, it's the white horses. It just felt really good. So I managed to get a shoot with them and just completely fell in love with the idea of it, although I had no idea how I was going to make it work photographically because it was so crazy. I was trying to do too much. I was trying to get in too close and I was trying to be a horse photographer, I think, rather than me. And sort of pulling back and doing something, leaving space. I was trying to be something else, and it just didn't work. So
I soon learned that I had to just try and carry on being me and make it, put it together. And that's what happened with this one. And luckily for me, others.
He just tottered over the rocks as penguins do in front of me, and his whole demeanor really just seemed to capture how I was feeling. So I placed the penguin in the center of the frame. I used a wide angle lens, the Olympus 7-14 Pro Zoom, to isolate it from the background. So to isolate it from those penguins behind as a way of conveying this sense of loneliness, which was how I was feeling, as I said.
I think those sort of 3 sections of the show that we had were probably my 3 top. But then once again, when looking through all of these, trying to sort of figure out what we're actually going to show here today, is that I enjoyed all of them, like for various like different reasons.
Yeah.
So some of them were like really techie.
Yeah.
Some of them, like the 3 that we've just seen, were really sort of about like the emotions and the stories behind, like what we find behind images.
Yeah.
And I found, particularly those 3 that we streamed live, absolutely just in awe watching them. It was so cool.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to speak to different photographers because they have different viewpoints and reasons for doing things, and to understand the way that they get to an image is interesting and encouraging.
Yeah.
Because you think, oh, okay, that's a different way I could try, or oh, that's how I think, and they get those results. So I wonder how I can tweak the way I think and look at things to get to that point. And also understanding that they don't always know the answers either, which is also reassuring. And I think that you could get from all of our speakers their passion for photography, which is what we care about, and just knowing that they weren't too fussed about gear, and it was more about making the image the way that they saw it, or responding to what was in front of them to make an image that kind of captured what they thought or felt about that moment. I think that's an important part of photography, and some people unfortunately don't get that, and that's fine. People can do photography for whatever reasons they like, but to understand how truly great photographers make images that can get emotion from a viewer is, I think, one of the most interesting things from the show.
I mean, it depends on like the type of photography that you like to look at, but also the type of photography that you want to actually make as well. So, we talked about, going somewhere, like the local tree that's around here. And I know so many people that just get an absolute fantastic buzz of getting that shot that they've absolutely seen. And such an amazing feeling of I've got that shot, which is one way of perceiving photography, but then the other way is building up a story behind something. A response. So as you're talking about the images, like all the 3 speakers that we saw there, there's a story behind sort of every image.
Because like David's was telling an obvious story, wasn't it?
Yeah,
which was interesting. But then Jonathan's kind of wanting to find certain things. I live in France, so I want to find things to do in France, and that the horses came to mind. And that
inspired from the waves,
and he wasn't a horse person then, but is now.
Yeah,
so it's affected his life more roundly than just the photo, the photography part of it. And Steve also telling a story of his loneliness through the loneliness of the penguin.
Yeah.
So he was almost putting on to an image the way he felt.
Yeah.
Or trying to express himself through the image, which I would argue it seems like a lot of people don't, or they struggle. Like the image is technically brilliant, the colors are fantastic, but there's not a lot of emotion. It's not that kind of next step, which I think truly great photographers achieve. And I think you only have to look at David Collier's, like he was using a really old 35mm camera with some film. There was not really much gear going on at all, but yet he captured the emotion and expressed his emotion and his team's emotion like
Well, it was like a tiny camera, wasn't it? I mean, we might as well not mention what gear we used because he literally wouldn't care.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, well, whatever I had, and that's what I was going to use.
Well, the camera, was it Olympus AF2 and an AF3?
It was like one of the double wind on Olympus. So
it's tiny, but the reason he chose it was because it was easy to clean. Yeah. And easy to like put the film in.
Yeah, and he could keep it in work and keep it sort of in that sort of from a health and safety point of view.
Which again shows where gear should fit as a tool rather than guide the whole process.
Yeah.
Which I think some people get backwards, if I'm honest. But no, I think it was I think a lot of the talks were very inspiring for different reasons. But those three were particularly inspiring from the philosophical and kind of the process side of it. Yeah. At least for me.
And some of the speakers that we've had that came on to the live shows, there was freely advice given as well. So
which is nice as well. There was like a confidence.
Yeah.
You know, like, well, I could tell you exactly where to put the tripod. I could tell you exactly what shutter speed I was at, what aperture, what ISO, what lens, what camera.
Yeah.
But you still wouldn't have got the same image as me.
Yeah.
And people should understand that there's a lot more to photography than pressing the button.
Yeah.
And then, like, well, wildlife photography shows that. David shows that in the sense that I haven't seen any other work where he could be that personal with people in that type of setting. And he couldn't have done that if he wasn't in the right place at the right time and built a relationship with them. It happened to be that he built that relationship because of working with them. But equally, Consta, he develops a relationship with the animals over time so that he can get the images, whereas other people wouldn't. And I think that's an interesting side to the photography part of it as well, isn't it?
No, that's absolutely brilliant. Yeah. So speaking about sort of giving advice, we had a couple of speakers come on and give us some little advice on how to shoot. So let's go over to them.
Basically start with what already appeals to you. So don't ignore what feels natural to you, what feels comfortable to you in a way. Like changing your style or branching out doesn't mean you have to go fully, you know, like 0 to 60 straight away. When I do talks on marketing, I talk a little bit about sort of branding and how to find your signature style and how to identify it, because a lot of people will shoot and they'll not necessarily self-analyze their photography and see what is their signature. And so I talk about this sort of concept of style anchors, where basically I tell people to pick their favorite photos, and by that I mean not the ones that have got the most Instagram likes or the ones that have the most sort of Facebook attention or whatever. Go for the ones that like really you loved at the time that you took them. So like, you know, when you're on a shoot or something and it's a photo that you were really excited about and you really couldn't wait to get home and see how it came out, that kind of photo is the one that resonates with you. So I get people to sort of pick 5 to 10 of the images that are like that, and I ask them to sit down and put them together and try and work out what the patterns are between them. And when you start to notice like the patterns in your photography, then you should notice that's what your style anchor is and that's what you love.
People who saw these pictures would just be like, I don't get it. It's kind of blue skies with stars. What's that all about? And again, this is really vitally important for anybody who's trying to do something slightly different. Is don't expect to be lifted onto the shoulders of the people in your village or town or your camera club and be carried around like a hero. The fact is that for most of the time, when you're trying to experiment with things and you're making mistakes and you're also producing work that is questionable or different in that sense, what tends to happen is that you are going to walk a rather lonely path. And the path of the creative person actually can be, in a general way, very, quite lonely in that sense. But fear not, because what you're doing is you're innovating. And this is vital to progression as a photographer, and something that I've been doing since those years.
That's brilliant. So some really good sort of points of advice there.
I love that. Don't expect to produce an image and then your whole community parade you through the street.
It's very true. And I mean, I had some work that I did sort of down in London 10 years ago, and I look at it now and go, oh yeah, that fits what's sort of going on now. But I never did anything with it because, like, well, it was a bit odd. And well, I'm just odd, so I know. So, but no, it's inspiring from Sue's point of view, you know, to finding like an anchor point into what you enjoy and then sort of grow upon that.
Sure.
And also to keep going with it as well, you know, regardless of you know, potentially what people think. Stay true to what you like doing, whatever it is, really, to be honest.
I think it's interesting to hear different people's points of view who are into different types of photography.
Yes.
And see that there are a lot of similarities because you're in the genre of, well, you're in the subject of photography, but then in each different genre, you have different specific issues.
Yeah.
But overall, the issues can often be quite the same. Or what I really enjoy is listening to people who do photography that I'm not really into or have never really tried much, and just hear what they do and then go, oh, actually, I could probably use that technique in my photography to achieve something else.
Yes.
But they don't think about because they don't do that photography. So I think understanding the genres of photography actually makes you a better photographer because you can learn how that they have overcome different issues.
Yeah, so I think that's some advice that we gave just before we went live with Chris. Yep, with the music photography. Was it
Peter Neal?
Peter Neal, was it? I can't remember. I'm getting all mixed up now.
Slept since then.
I know.
And
that's
had
the
a
problem.
holiday.
But no, it's just like, you know, if you're not specifically into sort of doing band photography, it's low light photography.
And the autofocus speed and understanding how light behaves and shutter speeds and apertures. And, well, he taught us how to do those panoramas with an 85mm lens.
Yeah, exactly.
And you think, that'd be interesting to try that with wildlife or
anything,
landscape.
Yeah.
Like that's going to be a mad way of like trying out a different technique, isn't it? So
no, definitely. There are some of the speakers that came on that really shared their story. So we've had a look at some of the people that have told the story behind the image, but we also had some great photographers come on that actually told their story. And let's have a quick listen.
The obvious question I'll talk about the elephant in the room is how does a blind person take landscape photos? Well, the truth is it's a lot of trial and error. It's having some imagination at the beginning, so for people who aren't sight impaired or with certain disabilities, you won't have to necessarily get up as early. But for me, I like to be at the location or very close to it about an hour before, especially for sunrise. I want to be there quite early. I want, even in the dark, it's fine. I've got a very bright head torch, and if it's really bad, I'll always be someone else. I won't go to these dodgy, hard to reach places on my own. So I'll always be with someone else, and I'll just hold on to the back of the back strap, the camera bag strap, and walk. It's very, no problem with that. I've been walking a long time. I'm quite good at it. And then practice. I would, before I came into landscape photography, I would sit in my front room. I would get a tripod. It wouldn't have been an Unguard. It would have been an old cheap plastic one that's broke, but I would sit in front of the TV or on the sofa with the tripod and camera on that. I would go through the menu and I would practice everything, almost with my eyes closed, so I could almost work out everything, every button and every door without even having to look, which really helps now.
But we did eventually get to the top, to this spectacular view. So it was 7 kilometers that took us just over 7 hours in the end. And for reference, Harshan and I, when we're walking off trail in Scotland, we usually walk at about 5 kilometers an hour. So it should have taken us an hour and a half in Scotland, but it took us 7 in Greenland. Albeit we did, of course, have these very heavy packs as well. But certainly the view was a lot better than I'd even been expecting. You've got this really Jurassic looking ridgeline, sort of like a stegosaurus, really, really impressive stuff. and the view in the opposite direction was almost as good, looking over this high lake, which actually was only just losing the ice, despite the fact that this was the end of July.
I remember I was in Gibraltar with a band called Lawson, who recently reformed, and Andy, the lead singer, and I had got up early one morning to walk up to the top of the rock, and it was like pretty early in the morning, like it was like 6:30, and we were walking up, and we were quite high up at this point, and out of nowhere, a monkey drops out of a tree and lands on my back, monkey in your back, literally. Proceeds to unzip my backpack and grab a lens, which was a Sigma 15mm fisheye. Anyone who has one, it's got a really tough metal hood, and that was key to this story. And lamps it down the hill. Now, anyway, so he throws it down the hill.
Like a cricketer, just down the hill.
Yes, exactly. And I was like, what the hell? Because I hadn't seen, like, it was Andy who'd seen the monkey properly. All I knew was there was something at the top of me, opening like that. And and so Andy, anyone who knows that he's incredibly tall and lanky, and so he looks like that guy in Star Trek Discovery, that really tall, lanky captain. He's basically a human version of him, and he just starts running down the hill after this thing. And by miraculous, because it's like it's tight corners, it would have just gone over the barrier or under the barrier or maybe banged off it. But he manages to catch it just before it gets to the barrier, before I would have lost it permanently. And the hood was totally bent and bent in, but because it's a metal hood, I was able to bend it back. That lens worked for another 3 years after that until I sold it.
Wow.
I didn't tell the buyer the story. I love Facebook Marketplace.
Just recompose myself after Pete just drops himself in it. That we've now mentioned twice on Facebook. So
nobody's ever going to buy any lenses from Pete.
You're welcome, Pete.
Monkey in Gibraltar's been launching it down the hill.
Or if anything, it has a story behind it.
It does.
Yeah. So I don't know if it worked and it had that story behind it.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd be well up for it.
Yeah. Pete and Niels was a great talk, especially from the story side. That one was a great story, but also like the stories where he.
Although we got really into it.
Yeah.
So because the nice thing with Pete is that we had him on for the so he gave a presentation at the beginning of the week, and then he came back on just absolutely nothing prepared, and then we just had a chat, and we went down like loads of different things. The way that once again it was that story of the photographer,
and kind of behind the scenes of what it is like to be a photographer. It's not glamorous a lot of times, and also that you don't always get it right. Yeah. Which is encouraging to know that even if you're starting out like he did, and now he works with some massive musicians, like you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
You have to just like work at it. You're not just going to go, yes, I want to be a world-class musician photographer tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow it will happen because I will buy lots of expensive camera gear, and tomorrow I will get that gig. Do you know what I mean? And that's not how it works, obviously, but to hear it from him and the kind of those stories and just the funny things and the way he learned some lessons the harder way, which was just very interesting, but also kind of going, it's okay. I don't have to be a perfect photographer to progress. And I think that's important to understand that all of these people who look fantastic and are fantastic don't always get it right. There are always going to be those times where things just don't go your way.
Yeah.
And that's okay as well.
Yeah, no, it certainly is. And, hearing stories about other photographers, we all hopefully like telling stories and certainly listening to stories.
It's like fishermen, isn't it?
But yeah, and, the same with Chris Noel, hearing his journey, because, if you want to go back and rewatch that anytime you can do.
Bit, he's like, the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Hang on a second.
But he went even further back. So he actually told his whole life story, basically, which was, it didn't go on for a life either. It's very nicely rounded up. But
it's inspiring to see how somebody who's been affected so massively can still find joy in photography, in this case, and have a great sense of fulfillment.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, some people might think it was very difficult to do that. Yet he's lost a lot of his sight, but can still produce beautiful images, which is that almost doubly impressive, isn't it? The fact that he struggles with the very thing that you arguably need to be good at photography. Like, it's mad. But again, really inspiring. And Alex's was interesting, especially like the raft one where they lost the
but it's just bonkers. Like, I didn't know people like Alex existed. Well, I knew they did, but it's just the amount of like dedication to, like, you know,
you can tell from his images, can't you?
No, you can. Yeah,
there's images that you know your average photographer is not going to be getting.
Yeah, well, to get you walking 7 days to somewhere to get a photograph through, you know, terrain.
That's dedication and passion for something, isn't
it? It certainly is. And, you know, once again, I mean, it was almost a double whammy with Alex, because you actually got a lot to look at, some stunning images that he produces, because they really are just absolutely on point. But then his story to how he got them as well is equally interesting. I mean, some people might find more interesting. I certainly found the story of how he got there a lot more interesting than his pictures, because I've been on his website and had a look at all his pictures. It was lovely to see them with the story, but the story was just amazing that came with it. So so big thank you to all of those speakers that sort of attended. So, oh dear, add this to the blooper reel for next year. So
we could probably do a whole video on how we screw up at least once a week.
Can you imagine? It would be so long as well.
More than 20 something hours of footage to go through to find all of that.
Yeah. But from inspiration to hearing stories behind what people, you know, behind their own stories and so on. We also had a bit of gear talk as well, which was absolutely awesome. So we had a lot of representatives come to our virtual show, which is absolutely awesome, and gave some of the speaks.
I wasn't going to pick up on that one, mate. But that one was hard not to pick up.
Always going to pick up on my own ones. I just shouldn't have any time off. So we did have quite a few people from different distributors and manufacturers actually attend. So we've just got a couple of snippets for you, but not all of them are in. So we've just done a couple.
A snapshot.
Artificial intelligence in the photography industry, both in cameras and in editing software?
I think it's one of the most interesting and exciting developments quite some time. I mean, I always think with camera development or any kind of product development, it's really interesting, because you get like a new bit of technology comes along, and then you imagine things that it can do. So like GPS, once that's come along, you kind of think, oh, because that can tell me where to go. It can tell me where to point the camera and do this and that and the other. But until you know that exists, you can't even imagine it, can you?
Sure.
And AI, I think what it's done or is doing for things like autofocus is just incredible. And, you know, you've got the Olympus EM1X. I took that to a railway centre, and it doesn't just identify, you know, the front of a train. It's any bit of train. It's, oh, there's a train. There's a train. It's like a little nerdy pal in there. There's a train. There's a train.
Train.
So what you do with this is you clip it either onto your jacket, your belt, your camera bag, as you can see there, and then when you're shooting, you simply just pop your cap off your lens, pop it on your belt. It's clever. It's so clever.
Better than that piece of thread with a sticky pad on the end.
Or like minging and
or goes through that little hole and then it like flaps about in the breeze.
Yeah.
You see that horrible sticky sound. Yeah, that's very cool.
Now, because the colour is quite strong in this image, and we've got a lovely blue going on in the sky, so the tone of the image is quite punchy, should we say, and the contrast is quite punchy as well. I would probably start to look for a high white point to the paper as well. So we can hold this color in the sky and also hold the detail in these branches a little bit as well. I think if we used an off-white paper, which would be completely acceptable, like I said, it's a completely personal choice. However, we would lose a little bit of the vibrance, I think, in the sky up here.
So the gear is very interesting. We like gear because we work in a shop that sells camera gear. But like the AI side of things is going to be incredible to see what it can achieve. And Angela spoke about the EM1X, which is a fantastic bit of kit. Paul and I, the most exciting thing we found the whole week was that Sigma made a magnetic lens cap. Like, they're just, it's great innovation by Sigma that you're not going to lose your lens cap, or you're less likely to. Now, also, we did mention this, but if you haven't gone and had a look, not now, after the video, go and have a look at Sigma's YouTube channel, the global one, and there's a video of some Sigma employees testing out the lens cap.
Amazing.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
The timing of the video is great.
Yeah. In any way that you would call anything fantastic, it's summed up into one in that video. So please go in there. Please go and check it out.
And Tim Jones.
Yes. From Photospeed.
We both love print.
Yeah.
We both love seeing things printed.
We've talked about print a lot.
Yeah. And it was great to hear from Tim and his points of view and how he chooses certain paper types and how to kind of go through that process. I think, well, personally, it was very useful.
It's great
to see how he thinks, because I think paper is a tough one. It is less now that we've had that video, but trying to choose a paper that matches the image and helps the image come to life, essentially.
Yeah. So. And we've mentioned printing through a couple or a few of the virtual show videos that we've done as well. So it's there's a lot of I've lost my words.
Difficulties, stigmas.
Oh, flipping heck. Moving on.
His words.
I have.
But
again.
And the chat with Angela was great.
Yeah.
Because we could all nerd out about gear.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can do that again. But also it was great to speak to Angela about SheClicks and that community that she's helped to build around photography and ladies. And I think that's really interesting to see how Angela's been able to help ladies feel more comfortable in photography and
I think it's awesome.
And challenge and push and encourage and help in something that's arguably quite difficult. And to see her point of view of how she's worked in the photographic industry for a long time and being able to achieve so much. No, that's a great one. If you've not watched that video, go and watch it. Like all of them. If you've not watched them, watch them. They're great. But also if you're a lady into photography, go and check out SheClicks because it's a great community.
Yeah.
And Sigma make great lenses. Not just fantastic lens caps.
Yeah. No, they do. Yeah. You want to put that on a t-shirt, don't you? We've got so many t-shirt ideas on the go at the moment. It's absolutely fantastic.
Range of clothing.
But big thank you to the other sort of suppliers and distributors that come as well.
Many. So we'd have another show just talking about.
Yeah, I know. And it is.
We're massively grateful.
Yeah, no, we certainly
understand that time is precious.
Yeah,
and a lot of people donated their time and effort to make it happen.
Yeah,
for you guys, and we're very honoured that they took that time. We're honoured that you took the time to watch them, and we'll go and watch them if you haven't already. I think it has been great. It has been hard work. I don't think I've ever been on so many video calls to make it happen, but it's worth it because there's lots and lots of really good content, really encouraging. And also a massive thanks to Sarah for twisting the arms of many people to get them to do the videos. Actually, it wasn't very many arm twisting because they're all very willing to do it. But no, thank you.
She went out and did the sort of the calling and stuff. So I mean, we were like, that's you.
It's not me.
It is.
You. You're the one with the bigger beard.
Yeah, but no, you're the one that made the gesture. That's your gesture.
My gesture.
Mine's likey. Yours is that. But no, it was amazing for Sarah to go out and sort of boots on the ground on it. Just absolutely just getting the job done. So big thank you to Sarah. So
and a big thank you to you.
And a big thank you to you.
Pat each other on the back.
Yeah.
No, you had to do a lot for, yeah. Oh dear, the amount of emails we've been sending and working on that Google document to try and other document providers are available. No, it was a lot of work, but it was worthwhile, and we're really glad. And if you do want to express how happy you were, we'd love a review, likey's on the videos. You know, what is it on Facebook now? Recommended. Don't do the stars anymore. And then Google and stuff like that. Just and subscribe to our YouTube. It helps us a lot. It helps us grow as a business and be able to kind of reach more people with the passion of photography, which is what we really want to do.
You know, we've started to invest in things now and everything, so we want to keep it going.
We spent 30 quid. Maybe it's more than that. And yeah, we want to be able to do more videos. We want to be able to create more content for you guys, and we'd love to in the future be able to meet up with you on workshops and get out and about and actually put into practice all these things that we've been hearing about, rather than sitting behind a desk. And,
I've got a long list of things that I want to try, from like the May show to the winter show. Of all these lovely things that we want to try when we can go out exploring together as well. So
and hopefully 2021 we'll be able to have at least one, if not two, shows in real life.
Fingers crossed.
Keep everybody safe, but be out and about or in the shop, and people being there to mill around and touch cameras and look at them and
touching
cameras. And we are, I don't know, it is a difficult one because we're not an online business in the sense like we don't just exist online. We've been going for almost 75 years. Next year is our 75th birthday. Pool looks fantastic. It's just for men and oil of Olay.
Yeah.
Or some other moisturizer. Other
Well,
ones may
top,
exist.
Top secret recipe in there as well.
Recipe. And we love seeing customers come in. We love seeing prints. We love being able to show cameras and lenses and bags to people. So I'm really excited for 2021. Hopefully some normality will resume so we can see people in the shop more often.
Yeah, no, will absolutely be great.
And putting faces to the names that pop up in the comments and things like that.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
No, it'd be absolutely fantastic. So once again, big thank you to everyone that supported the show. So all the speakers, manufacturers, distributors, viewers that tuned in live, big thank you. And also anyone that's rewatching any of our videos as well, big thank you to you as well.
100%.
Like Joel said before, make sure that you like and share or recommend, or we can't keep on top of all these different names that everyone keeps calling them. So any way that you can help us by sharing what we do, it really does help.
We
so
should probably look at some of the comments before we do.
Yes, we forgot about that, didn't we? So you'll have to hear the patter again.
Tina says those are amazing. I think she's referring to the wildlife ones. Rachel says, is there any news on the photography challenge with Paul Sanders? Yes, we're just getting the show sorted, and then we'll be back on that, and we're going to arrange a video with Paul, and we'll go through some of the images, and it'll take a bit of time for us to build the online gallery. It might be the beginning of next year, just because the current situation makes it difficult with time.
Yeah.
There's not enough time in the day. And Martin says, hi guys, what's the opening hours over Christmas period, please? So we're open 10 till 4, Monday to Saturday.
Yep.
As usual at the moment. Closed on Sunday. So on Christmas Eve, we'll be open till 4. And then close Christmas Day, Boxing Day. Then it's Sunday, which will close anyway. Then we're back and open on Monday.
Yep.
Yeah. 28th. Yeah, I think so.
And then the repeat.
Yeah, basically. So we'll be open on New Year's Eve, and then we'll have 2 days.
Yeah.
We'll be back open on Monday, as usual.
Yep.
It's 2021. We are figuring out what we're going to do with this. We because it's Christmas Day on Friday, and I'm pretty sure I'll have been eating my Christmas dinner
And
then have a long nap.
let's not say what I'll be doing at that time.
But yeah,
Please comment below.
Yeah, those are the Christmas hours and days. They'll be on our website and on Google and Facebook and all the other good places. Steve says, I love that lens cap holder. Presume it is only compatible with Sigma lenses. Have a mixture of Canon and Sigma. One of those wish I'd thought of it ideas. Yeah, definitely. I do wonder if somebody might come up with one of those like sticky magnets that you could pop on and it might hold on to it.
We were speaking to Sam off air, and you know, he was saying that it's surprising when somebody brings something out and it sort of opens up to other things. So I think we're seeing a good response from the lens cap idea, and I would assume that we're going to see a little bit more from it, maybe from a third party doing something with it. So
it'd be interesting. Like I think we spoke about having lens holders.
Yeah,
lens holders,
lens filters,
filter holders that snap on and you can move them around. That'd be good. So Helen Smith says, "I've joined She Clicks after that talk. Great, that's
spot
awesome. On. Thanks for that one. What's with this, ladies, women? I don't know. I just got told I should always refer to women as ladies. I think my dad just taught me that one. So, don't know. Just habit, I suppose. Helen also says, loving this roundup. Going to watch the ones I missed. Yes.
Awesome.
We recommend popcorn and a glass of wine or beer.
And
or gin.
Not watching them all together because it does cover a full 24-hour period and you might want a little bit of sleep.
Yeah, maybe. Sleep's overrated.
Cambrian 24-hour challenge.
I remember like speaking to my friends about watching all of the 24s. Like, watching a season in a 24-hour period. Never got around to it.
No.
Because then I had kids. Steve says, it was a brilliant, inspiring week to see so many talented people of different aspects of our craft. It's something that would not normally be possible to experience. Loved it. Thanks, Steve. That's a great
Cheers,
one.
Steve.
I'm going to have to stick that on the website.
And it's been great having Steve along for the journey as well. Yeah. So do appreciate you watching.
100%. And Martin Jones says, thank you for your help. You're welcome.
Brilliant.
So next week.
Next week?
Yeah, 4:30.
Yep.
Again.
Yeah.
What are we talking about next week?
I can't remember.
Probably have to look at the calendar.
Yep. Until then, any final thoughts for this evening?
No, just have a great weekend. Stay safe. Hope you managed to get all your Christmas shopping done in time.
Yep.
And if you need any photography related ones, you know where to find us.
Yep. Shop will be open tomorrow. You can come and pop in. Joel will be out gallivanting.
And on that one, if you are free tomorrow between 2 and 7 or 8 or whatever time it is, sign up online.
Yeah,
I think it's £99 with Gareth Morn, who was weather photographer last year. It's a fantastic photographer. We'll be having a great afternoon/evening with him. So it'd be good to see you. The details are on the website.
That's brilliant. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Please make sure that you like and share this video. Blah 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 blah. Because I've already done it.
Likey, share.
Likey.
Subscribe.
Everyone have a good evening.
Cheers.
Bye bye.